Okay, hello everybody. Let's wake you up a little bit. So, like Todd said, my name is Carlos Abad. I'm actually the founder of Launch NJ. But before I start talking about that, I figure it's important that I share with you a little bit about Todd, because what's happened here is really crazy by my own. I've seen a lot of groups. I've held a lot of meetups. I've helped get a lot of groups going. And I've never seen anything like kind of what happened with here. So I'll give you a little bit of a background on a very relevant story as far as me and Todd, and hopefully to share kind of what got us here and where we're going to be going in the future. So you saw those emails. I saw Todd. I kind of keep a track on the entrepreneurial community. It's a passion of mine. And I saw that we had this group called Cold Junkies run by Jason Graves. I was really pumped. I was like, great, we really need developers in New Jersey. So I saw that he did that. He was going, and then all of a sudden Todd pops up. So I sent Todd that email. I reach out to him. Todd is pumped. He's doing 45 different things. We set up about 6 months ago that we were going to have lunch on a Saturday morning. We go to Tiffany's in Morris Plains. And the first thing I walk in, I look for Todd. Has anyone seen the picture that Todd has out? It's this clean-cut guy. I'm looking right at him. I'm like, who the hell is this? It's not Todd. So finally, okay, I realize it's Todd. We say hello, and we start talking. And it turns out that at that point, Todd had gone through a period where he had quit his job, and he had done a little bit of soul searching. And what kind of came out of it is that he had gotten the community building and the entrepreneurial bug. So once you get past the niceness and you start talking, the floodgates open. Todd does a total and complete brain dump on me. He hits me with 75 different things that were totally all over the place. I'm like, Todd, I kept trying to bring him back. I've sat down with a lot of entrepreneurs, kind of trying to get where they are, see where I can maybe provide a little bit of assistance and a little bit of advice. But there was no getting Todd down. He was going, and he was going to dump it. So we finished the meeting, and what am I thinking to myself? This is a smart guy. He's a passionate guy. But he's nuts. But I really liked him. And I said, you know what? There can be something here. And I'm always going to support a developer who becomes an entrepreneur. So let's see what happens. So from that point, we start moving forward. And Todd is always emailing me. He's telling me on different things that he's doing. So the first thing that he does is he tells me that he got the Google Developer Group. Super duper. Fantastic. Let's do it. Let's see what we can build out of this. Next thing he tells me he wants to do the Google I/O event. Fantastic. Sure, let's do it. So about 20 days ago, I forget how many days ago it was, we sat here in Montclair State, Dennis Bone, who runs the Feliciano Center, Sharon Waters, Jason Frasca, Todd, and a few other people from Montclair. And Todd is telling us he wants to do this 2-day event. He wants to have bands. He wants to have 1,000 people. And like, this is nonstop. And I'm like, cool, I'm in. So it's kind of like a South by Southwest. Next year? No, 3 weeks. Really? Now, I've run 200-person events, and I'm like, Todd, maybe scale it down. Like, we had to scale him down at that. Scaling him down was getting it to be a 2-day event with 500 people. That was scaling down. So the bottom line is that it started there. We got to this point, and the fact that we were able to achieve what Todd has done today in this very short period of time, I think is nothing short of amazing. But I also think that there's no reason why we can't have that event that he originally envisioned next year. So that's really what my hope is, and that's really where everybody here can come together and do it. And that's really what happened. One of the really, really cool things that I kind of was looking behind the scenes, because this was all Todd, I was just kind of helping with connections with a few things that I can do, was that all of these different groups started coming in and pitching in with marketing, with assistance, and it kind of shows that we are starting to build a community in New Jersey. It's really something that before was just an idea, and there was little inklings. Now it's starting to mature into a reality. So back in February of 2013, I started a group called Madison Tech. And Madison Tech was simply very similar to NJ Tech, similar to Morris Tech, similar to Jersey Shore Tech, similar to Princeton Tech. We just didn't have a group out there that provided that type of event for the local community. Why should you have to travel to Hoboken if we can bring it to you here? So I set up with the Rothman Entrepreneurial Institute. We started the meetings, and they were going good. I mean, we grew to like 600 people in a year. We were having 70, 80 people attend events, so everything was very cool. And then we had another group that was a little bit south of us, and it was called Chatham Tech. And we were close to each other, so they wanted to combine with us. And I said, sure, not a problem. Let's see how we can kind of work this together. And then I kind of started thinking to myself, I always had a little bit of a different vision in that I saw that there were a lot of good groups that had achieved good size, but one of the things that I wanted to do different is I wanted to create a group with the hub and spoke model where this group is like a center and it helps create all these specialty groups so that you can create, if you're developers, if you're into life sciences, if you want to do female entrepreneurialism, whatever it is that you wish, we'll use the voice of the main group to help create this, help you form other groups, and in essence really start building what I consider a community instead of a good meetup. So at that point, we made the decision, and I made the decision, and I said, you know what, you guys continue with the event, and the event continues to survive as Morris Tech. It's a fantastic group. It's run out of FDU's Rothman Institute. And I decided, okay, I want to morph this into that thing. I really didn't know what it was, and this is what it ended up being. It ended up being Launch NJ. And the mission is extremely simple. I'm not trying to be a rocket scientist here. And if you read it, the creation of a vibrant entrepreneurial community in New Jersey so that entrepreneurs have the necessary tools available to launch their startups locally. I'm not in competition with New York. We're not in competition with Philly. It's not about being better than anybody else. It's about if you're an entrepreneur and you choose to take that challenge, and it's a big pill you're going to swallow, so be very cautious when you do it. It's always better if you can do that locally because time is always going to be of the essence. So why have to travel when we can create that environment right here in New Jersey for you? So that's kind of why I specifically chose this language. And I kind of highlighted the idea of collaboration because to me that's really what it's all about. I mean, here, this was all Todd. This wasn't me. But because I had been around a little longer, I had some connections, I can help him. And we're doing this actively, like I said, with a bunch of different groups. So that's the overall vision of Launch NJ. It's so that if you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking about it, you want to network, you want to share your ideas, you want to have a place where you can just kind of really see if this is what you want, a place to learn, that's the vision of Launch NJ. So to me, and is anybody here amazed that we don't have an entrepreneurial community in New Jersey? Okay. Does anybody think that we do have a vibrant entrepreneurial community? Okay, Esther. We'll argue that later. I think we have the beginnings of one, but I don't think per se that we have one. I think that we still have a lot of work before that statement could be made, but that's just my opinion. But I do think that we have all of the building blocks to really make this a reality. And the building blocks are simple. Look at we're highly educated, great business culture, extensive higher education. When I say a wealthy state is really important because every entrepreneur, especially if you're a tech entrepreneur, one of the things they're going to tell you is we need investors. Investors, money people, tend to be the best angels. And what I always tell people who want the investors now is that investors are very simple animals. They want an opportunity where they see a lot of great companies and they want to pick the best of those great companies. Until you can offer them that, it's going to be hard for New Jersey to really start getting a high level of investor interest. I speak with a bunch of them. I have a bunch of relationships with them, and that's pretty much the census. But I'm telling you that it's actively starting to change. They are starting to look at what we're doing. We have a company here that's called Foosar. You're going to see them a little bit later. They're also part of Tech Launch, the accelerator. We have a lot of good companies that are starting to get online. So and they're going to need capital, so that's why wealth is important. The fact that we border New York and Philly is a good thing. I don't view them as competition. I view them as a future resource. And one of the big advantages that we have in New York, even though New Jersey is not expensive compared to the South or compared to other pockets of the U.S., compared to New York City, it is. And what's another thing besides that's very valuable initially to entrepreneurs besides their time? The other part is their cost. If you think about if you have X amount of money, the more you bootstrap it, the longer you can run it, the better your chance of getting that point where you hit that click, that tipping point, and then you hit your critical mass. So all of these things are extremely important, and it's just a matter of putting this together. And developers are a backbone of this, and that's why we have a ton of developers right now who are traveling to New York City working with startups. A few of them are going to Philly. If we can show them that we have a lot of great companies here, we can show you guys that we have a lot of great companies here. It's good for you to look at what for you to start looking at the startups, and that benefits everybody. So that's the vision. These are the building blocks, and we're really starting to see that the fact that we can pull together in 18 days an event with 100-plus people, and now our people signing up has really been coming off the charts. So I think we're going to probably be close to 200 by the time we're done. I think that kind of speaks for itself. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, this is still in the process of coming. And I feel very comfortable that this is going to become a reality because I have recruited Todd Nakamura to run this. Okay. Oh, he is, but he's a good kind of nuts. So what this site is going to be, and be on the lookout, we're going to let everybody know when it comes, and what launchnj.org is going to be, it's going to be a central site. One of the things, like, I work with NJIT, the Feliciano Center here is just awesome. Like Dennis Bone, you couldn't have picked a better guy to run this center. As well as Sharon. So one of the things that I kind of see is that there's a lot of, even like the EDC, the Economic Development Center, you have all of these groups that are doing great things, but the sad thing is that entrepreneurs don't know about it. Okay. So what this site is going to be, it's going to be a central location. So if you want to see where any of these events are, all you got to do is go there and you can search it by vertical or by geography. We're also it's going to be centralized so that any information, like, if there's grants available, if there's programs that can benefit you, whether they're federal, whether they're university-based, or whether they're independent-based, you're going to be able to find it here. And then beyond that, one of the best things, if anybody, okay.
Somebody's pushing the on button on the table.
Sure, you don't have a red light on this. There's some microphones here, folks.
Okay.
So make sure it's off.
All right. Cool. Thank you. How many people here, and please be honest, do you really have an interest in seeing an entrepreneurial community in New Jersey? It's of some value.
I've been looking for it for a while now.
Cool. All right. Nice. Well, look, a big important part of this is that it's up to you. So one of the things that I know that I do in the Madison area, if you have a passion, somebody else was talking to me about doing robotics or doing, actually more physical devices as opposed to those, let me know. I will help you form the group. I will help you get it started. I will market it to you. I will market it to everybody else in the area. So if you're passionate about it and there's something that you don't see, let us know and we'll help create it. Or if you see it and you want to, help us enhance it. So it really needs the interaction of everybody here. And, we're going to keep adding bells and whistles to this. We're treating this like a startup. I always say I treat LaunchNJ like a startup. We're going to take chances. We're going to be willing to fail. But we're going to keep moving forward. And we're going to be proactive instead of just being reactive. And launchnj.org, I hope, is going to be an important site to create that buzz and for people to find the information and for us to really get to that next level. And your input is going to be vital.